shocking facts about Jungkook are revealed. PVH's CEO, Stefan Larsson, finally spoke up. Hello, Army around the world. Welcome back to this channel, where we not only celebrate BTS's incredible journey, but also a deeper dive. Here, we uncover the untold stories, shocking revelations, and the hidden meaning behind the headlines. And today we will discuss the story that shook the world of music and fashion. A story that begins under one name, Jungkook. However, it's not just about Jungkook the singer, Jungkook the performer. Jungkook is the youngest member of BTS. It's about Jungkook, the global fashion phenomenon, which has managed to rewrite the rules of branding, marketing, and cultural influence. And that makes the story is all the more remarkable is the fact that it was confirmed by Stefan Larsson himself, CEO of PVH Corporation, the company that houses Calvin Klein. When a CEO, multi-billion-dollar companies speak, the world listens. However, when he talks about Jungkook, it was more than words. It is a recognition that the world has changed. Calvin Klein legacy, a brand built on courage. To understand how important this moment is, we need to step back. Take a step back and revisit the history of Calvin Klein. Founded in New York in 1968, Calvin Klein quickly gained fame thanks to her bold designs and provocative campaigns. In the 1980s, Calvin Klein rocked the fashion world with its iconic jeans campaign featuring Brooke Shields, which, famous for saying, "Nothing stands between me and my Calvins." The campaign was bold, controversial, and Calvin Klein is a well-known name. Shortly thereafter, their lingerie campaign featuring Kate Moss and Mark Wahlberg became a cultural milestone. The 1990s belonged to Calvin Klein, who not only mastered fashion but also popular culture. But over time, the brand struggled to stay relevant. Competitors are coming, new trends are popping up, and Calvin Klein is no longer the cultural powerhouse it used to be. That was until Jungkook books appeared. PVH Corporation, the powerhouse behind Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein now operates under the auspices of PVH Corporation. The global fashion giant also owns brands such as Tommy Hilfiger. At the top of this kingdom stands Stefan Larsson, a man with a vision of innovation and a track record in reviving brands. Las Vegas is not just businessman. He's a strategist who understands that in today's world, cultural influences are equally important to product quality. So when he chose to bring Jungkook to Calvin Klein, it wasn't just a marketing move. It was a strategic move that changed the course of the brand forever. The day when Jungkook was announced as the ambassador of Calvin Klein. Do you remember that day? 1. The day Calvin Klein officially announced Jungkook as their new global ambassador. The internet is practically destroyed. Pictures of the campaign sprang up and instantly spread like wildfire. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere you look, there's Jungkook at Calvin Klein. That, not just a campaign. It was a cultural event. In a matter of hours, Calvin Klein's Jungkook became a trend in dozens of countries. Articles sprang up in every major fashion magazine, from Vogue to Elle, stating Jungkook as the new face of modern fashion. And then, the unimaginable happened. Calvin Klein's official website crashed due to a huge surge in visitors from fans who want to buy everything junk. This is not an advertisement. This is history being made. Stefan Larsson's shocking confession. A few months later, Stefan Larsson was asked about the collaboration, and what he revealed made the fashion industry is dumbfounded. He said, "Jungkook's impact on Calvin Klein is greater than any celebrity collaboration we've done in the last decade." Ponder for a moment. This, not just a compliment. It is an admission that Jungkook has done what no one able to do for years. It makes Calvin Klein relevant again. Larsson added that Jungkook presents something rare and irreplaceable, namely authenticity. He explained that when Jungkook wore Calvin Klein, it doesn't look forced. It doesn't look like a paid advertisement. It looks natural. It looks real. And that's why people feel connected to it. Jungkook effect. Numbers don't lie. Let's discuss the measurable impact of Jungkook's presence. Surge in sales. Every Calvin Klein item featured Jungkook. Sold out. From denim jackets to plain t-shirts. Website traffic. Calvin Klein's website notes. One of the highest traffic spikes in history after the Jungkook campaign was launched. Global expansion markets in Asia, particularly South Korea, Japan, and China, are experiencing explosive growth. Industry analysts Brand Value reported a significant increase in Calvin Klein brand valuation post-Jungkook. This phenomenon even got its own name in the media, the Jungkook effect, or cultural shift. 5.36. A new era in fashion. But Jungkook's influence goes beyond numbers. It represents 5.43. Cultural shift. For decades, global fashion houses have largely relied on Western faces to represent their brands. 5.50. Jungkook destroyed that tradition. Here's a young man from South Korea, a K-pop idol, stepping into the same space that was once dominated by Hollywood stars and supermodels. And he not only fits. She redefined what it means to be a global fashion icon. With Jungkook, Calvin Klein is not. It's just another American brand. It became a truly global brand. Why Jungkook is different from the another. Other ambassadors have worn Calvin Klein before. Justin Bieber brought a youthful rebellion. Kendall Jenner embodies the luxury of high fashion. Mark Wahlberg and Kate Moss symbolize raw energy. The nines. But Jungkook is different. She's not just a model. She is a performer, singer, dancers, and artists with a fan base unlike any other. When Jungkook posed for Calvin Klein, fans, not just looking at clothes, they see a story. They saw a man who rose from humble beginnings into one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Emotional connection is something that it can't be bought by any brand, and that's what makes Jungkook's partnership with Calvin Klein so strong. Speculation of the future. What's next for Jungkook and Calvin Klein? After Stefan Larsson's shocking confession, the fashion world began to speculate. Could Jungkook launch its own Calvin Klein collection? Can we see the Jungkook capsule line, former Calvin Klein, designed with his personal touch? Will Calvin Klein make it their long-term global icon, cementing its position in fashion history? Imagine a clothing line inspired by Jungkook's style, casual, minimalist, but with a bold touch. A collection that represents not only fashion, but also music, culture, and youth. If this happens, this could be one of the most successful collaborations in the history of fashion. Army, the driving force behind it all. Of course, all this will not be it could have happened without the Army. Whenever Jungkook shows up in a campaign, Army isn't just watching. They celebrate, they amplify, and they turn it into a global event. Billboard featuring Jungkook and Calvin Klein has become a tourist attraction. Fans travel to different cities just to take pictures with them. And every time Calvin Klein releases a new product, Army makes sure everything is sold out. Here's why industry experts now call the Army the most influential consumer community in the world. They are not just a fan. They are a global cultural movement. Conclusion: Jungkook, the icon of the new era. So what does all this mean? This means that Jungkook is not just wearing Calvin Klein. He is Calvin Klein. Through his authenticity, his aura, and his bond with the Army, Jungkook has transformed a brand into a phenomenon. He has proven that cultural influence is stronger than any marketing strategy. And as Stefan Larsson himself admits, Jungkook has achieved something that no one else has done for more than a decade. It's bigger than just fashion. It's history. A question for the Army. So Army, now it's your turn. What do you think of the future of Jungkook and Calvin Klein? Are you sure we were looking at Calvin Klein's Jungkook X special line? Or do you guys think Jungkook will keep breaking boundaries in ways we can't even imagine yet? Share your opinion in the comments. And do not forget to like, share and subscribe to get more in-depth stories that make up BTS and the world around them. Because with Jungkook, we don't just witness history, we live it.